My friend Pam had a family cabin up on a lake in northern Iowa where I grew up. And she said, you know what you should do? You should go stay in my family's cabin because nobody else will be there at this time of year because spring break was really early in March. So you should come and stay in my family's cabin and there won't be anybody around to bother you. Ah, great idea. I thought that's exactly what I need. Nobody to distract me. So on the first day of spring break, Pam and I loaded enough food for me for a week and all my school supplies and all my textbooks, and we got in the car and we drove to the lake. And sure enough, we didn't even see another car for about the last hour of the drive. So Pam helped me unload all the stuff into the cabin, and then she got in her car and she went home. And I decided, you know what, before I start to study, I should probably take a walk around the lake just to make sure there was nobody else there to bother me during all my work. So I don't know if you've ever walked around a lake, but usually it takes a lot longer than you'd think. So once I started, it took me all afternoon to walk around that lake. But sure enough, didn't see another living soul the whole time I was walking. I came home, I got everything out to cook myself a nice dinner, and then I put the dinner on the table right in front of a big picture window that could see the whole lake. And just as I picked up my fork to take my first bite of food, the sun slipped down below the horizon and everything got dark. I was just about to eat that first bite of food when I heard on the door. Well, that was really odd because, like I said, I didn't see anybody that whole afternoon. But I went over and I opened the door, and there stood the strangest looking woman I have ever seen in my life. She had long, dark hair as black as night, white, pale skin like a ghost, blood red lips, and long red fingernails. And she pointed one of those fingernails at me and she said, "Do you want to see what I can do with my red, red lips and my long, long nails?" And I said, "No!" And I slammed the door. I had never been so scared in my life. I jumped into the bed, pulled the covers over my head, and I just sat there for a long, long time. And finally, I guess I fell asleep because the next thing I knew, it was morning. And I woke up and the sun was shining, glistening off the lake. And I thought, wow, did I just imagine all that? But then I saw my dinner still untouched on the table, and I knew it was real. So that day, I got down to business. I cleared the dinner dishes, I made myself a good breakfast, and then I started to work. And I worked so hard. I caught up on all my math homework. I started the paper that I had been putting off for months, and I felt really great. I worked all the way through lunch, and before I knew it, it was dinner time. So I cleared everything away, made myself a nice dinner. I sat down at the table, and just as I was about to take that first bite of food, the sun slipped down below the horizon. It got all dark. I was just about to eat that first forkful of food when on the door. Oh. I went over. I opened the door, and there she was. Long dark hair as black as night, blood red lips, pale skin, and long nails. And she said to me, "Do you want to see what I can do with my red, red lips and my long, long nails?" And I said, "No." And I closed the door and I jumped back into bed and I pulled the covers over my head and I lay there for a long, long time. So long that I fell asleep again, woke up the next morning, same story. Sun glistening on the lake, my dinner untouched on the table, I thought, oh no, I'm not doing this again. I'm out of here. I cannot have one more night with that person walking around this lake knocking on my door. So I just grabbed a piece of toast for breakfast and I started off down the road to the payphone that I saw about 2 miles down the road when Pam had driven me up here. I thought, I'm calling Pam. I'm telling her, you have to come get me, and you have to come get me now. So I walked all the way down the road and I put a dime in the payphone because that's what it cost then. I dialed the phone because that's how they work then, and there was no answer. Oh no. This was in the days before telephone answering machines, so I couldn't even leave a message. So I just sat there at the phone booth, and every once in a while during the day, I'd get up and I'd put the dime in, and I'd dial the number again. No answer. Well, finally, the sun was getting lower and lower in the sky, and I thought, oh, I do not want to be out here on my own in case I run into that woman. So I raced as fast as I could back to the cabin. I got into the cabin. I closed the door just as the sun sunk down below the horizon and everything got dark. And then I sat down at the kitchen table and I waited. And you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. Oh. I got up, I started to make myself dinner, and then there was the knock. I went over, I opened the door, and there she was. Long black hair, as dark as night, white, ghostly pale face, red lips, and long red nails. And she said to me, do you want to see what I can do with my red, red nails and my red, red lips? And I said, what? And she said, and that was the last I ever saw of her. But you can bet I always did my homework on time after that.